Hello everyone, my name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class. I hope you all are doing fine and your studies are going good. We have to cover many events today, so let's get on with our business. Do not worry about making class because I will provide the PDF through my Telegram channel, that is by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any questions regarding this examination, you can also get in touch with me on my Instagram. So let's talk about this practice question. Who among the following heads the National Disaster Management Authority? Home Minister, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Minister of Earth Sciences, and then we have the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the correct answer. Most of you have answered it correctly. So let's get on with the explanation. See, recently the leader of the opposition, Priyanka Gandhi, went to Himachal Pradesh. She saw that area and asked the centre to declare it a national calamity hit area. Also, the Chief Minister has time and again called for this, that this area should be, or Himachal Pradesh should be declared as a national calamity hit area. Why? Because it will help in the aiding process, financial aiding process. And losses have been pegged at more than 8,000 crore rupees. It can even go up to 12,000 crore rupees. See, many lives have been lost, many people are missing, houses have been damaged. So where will these poor people go? This takes us to the concept of climate refugee. If any community who belongs to certain calamity hit area has to move out because of that, they are known as climate refugees. So if that area becomes or is declared as a national calamity hit area, financial aid can move freely, more frequently freely. All right. There is no official definition or defined category of what is a national disaster. Although we have the Disaster Management Act of 2005, which tells us that what can we interpret as a national disaster. It is a catastrophe, mishap, calamity or grave occurrence in any area that arises from either natural or man-made causes. So both are there, natural as well as man-made. And this man-made could be by accident or negligence. It results in the substantial loss of life, damage to property and degradation and damage to the environment. Then it can be considered as a national disaster and is of such a nature or magnitude that the community by and large cannot cope on its own. So that is why it needs help. And here comes the concept of disaster. Alright, so this is what disaster is. The National Disaster Management Authority is mandated under the Act, the National Disaster Act of 2005. It established this authority, which is headed by the Prime Minister, and the respective state disaster management authorities are headed by the respective state chief ministers. The National Disaster Response Force is a group of different battalions that is there to aid and assist in such national calamity or calamity hit areas. Alright, so let's move on with the P2I batches. P2I batches for 2024 are still going on. If you want to take admission, I have time and again told you to do so that you can get a head start with your preparation. For the year 2025, all the features of the P2I with the short-term batch is also given in the long-term. However, the time is much expansive in nature. Okay, so make sure you use the code PDLive whenever you are taking admission in any of the P2I batch. This one starts from 16th of September at 6 p.m. and we are very close to it, so do it. Okay. And PDLive is the code that you have to apply. These are evening batches. The phase 1 of the E-Courts Integrated Mission Mode project was implemented in which of the following years? 2008, 2006, 2007, 2011. Mind you, I have asked you about the implementation and not the conceptualization. That means launching in the implementation phase is different and declaring a project out loud to the world is different. Although the E-Courts project, the mission mode project, was conceptualized and declared in the year 2005, implementation of the first phase took place in 2007. So option C will be the correct answer. Recently, the Union Cabinet has, allocated a lot of money, that is 7,210 crore, in order to implement the third phase of the E-Court project. That means everything, that is every facet of the court now will be available in a digital format. It's different in it has been registered in different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 2007, then phase 2, and finally we are heading into phase 3. Let's move on. It was launched in 2005 in order to equip the Indian judiciary with digitization, digitizing every facet of litigation, not only just initiation but also the judgment. The first stage It actually was the computerization of district and taluka codes through the implementation of the case information software that gave us basic case related services to both litigants and lawyers. Also, the phase 2 was the integration of the system across courts in the country through the National Judicial Data Grid, which had all the information about the pendency of the cases, disposal of the cases. So it became paperless, and this is what we want to do. Also, it is in line with the Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which means life on earth. And if we are going to be digitized in every fashion, how will it help us? Felling of trees would be reduced, and hence carbon footprint will also be impacted in a positive way. Then phase 3 is the digital and paperless court. Now, an online court is aimed at eliminating the presence of litigants and lawyers because of the presence of digital India, because of the presence of virtual courts. So that will also help in what? Just think about it. If the people may not have to be present physically, they will not use vehicles. When they don't use vehicles, carbon emissions get reduced or not. So how it is all interrelated? As a bureaucrat, you have to think across all sectors. Harnessing artificial intelligence is also one of its goals, and it is a joint implementation by Department of Justice of Ministry of Law and Justice and E-Committee, Supreme Court of India. Who heads the E-Committee? The CJI. The Chief Justice of India right now, Chief Justice of India is D.Y. Chandrachud Ji. That is why it is important to know about these small things as well. Consider the following countries: Denmark, Lithuania, Norway, Iceland. How many of the above share a border with the Arctic Ocean? Let's know the answer. Denmark does through Greenland. Norway does it too, and Iceland also, but not Lithuania. So 3 only will be the correct answer. India and Russia have recently agreed to train Indian seafarers in polar and Arctic waters. As in time, as in when we see that the ice waters are melting because of the greenhouse gas emissions in the Arctic region, that region is becoming more open as a sea route. That is why India is collaborating with Russia. More and so, in a very broader sense, we can also become a part of the northern sea route as well as eastern maritime corridor. As you can see, this is the northern sea route. What happens is that if we have to reach Europe from here, it takes a lot of time. But if we go through the northern sea route, it will help us in saving on not only time but also fuel, and also collaborating with Russia in this sense. Because countries such as China are already doing it, why not us? Russian Maritime Training Institute is the one where training will be done. Trading and transportation of potential commodities such as coking coal, oil and liquefied natural gas will be done along this corridor. Whatever map shows India to be dissected into groups, please, I do not support this narrative. Many areas which have not been shown in the international narrative map, I do not support that map at all. I just want to depict what the current question calls us for. Okay. So this, as you can see, as the melting of the ice has occurred, this region is becoming freer and more open to, as a sea route. And that is why we are also open to this particular opportunity. However, we have to keep in mind, if it becomes too much impacted by such melting of ice, sea water level will rise. And of course, if we are becoming a part of the northern sea route, more traffic will be there. More traffic means more damage to the biodiversity of the Arctic Ocean can also occur. So we need a proper treaty, a proper legislation in order to control such kind of mishaps in the Arctic Ocean. The Northeast Passage is the shortest shipping routes for freight transportation, 5,600 kilometers, and there are many seas that are inside this particular route. What seas? Chukchi Sea, then we have Siberian Sea, Laptev Sea, Kara Sea. As you can see, these are the many ports. These are the many ports of Russia, just like Port of Sabeta, Port of Dixon, Port of Katanga, Port of Tiksi. So these are the ports that Russia can use in order to collaborate with different countries if it is opening its areas as a route. Okay. And 4 seas of the Arctic Ocean are a part of this northern sea route. The route begins at the boundary between the Barents and the Kara Sea and ends in the Bering Strait. Okay. So remember, a UPSC question could be formulated from here. 6 countries border the Arctic seas. By 6 countries we mean Canada and the USA, USA through Alaska, Russia, Iceland, Norway, Denmark via Greenland. And there are 2 territories that have special status. First is Svalbard, which is administered by Norway, and Nunavut, which is an autonomous territory which is inhabited by Canada's Inuit people. Alright, let's move on. The Tsutsugamushi triangle is related to a disease which is caused by virus, bacteria, fungi or roundworm. The correct answer to this question, if you are reading the newspapers, then you can answer it correctly. It is option B, that is bacteria. I'm talking about scrub typhus, which is caused by a bacteria, and it is known as Orencia Tsutsugamushi. There is a region which seems like a triangle comprising of countries from Southeast Asia, and this region sees a lot of cases of scrub typhus. So a question by twisting certain facts will be asked like this, and UPSC can twist facts very well. It is known to do that. So the correct answer will be option B, that is bacteria. Scrub typhus has been causing unexpected deaths in India, in some parts of India, such as 5 people died in Odisha and 9 people have succumbed to this infection in Himachal Pradesh. Scrub typhus is also known as bush typhus, and it is caused by a bacteria known as Orencia Tsutsugamushi. As you can see, this is a sugar. Sugar means it's a larval mite that may bite people who are working in the gardens and those areas where scrub typhus is often registered, and it is spread to people through the bites of infected sugars. This is the problem. Fever, headache, body ache and sometimes rash. These are the symptoms of it. Most cases they occur in rural areas, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, China, Japan, India and Australia, Northern Australia. As you can see, this is a triangle. This is known as the Tsutsugamushi triangle, but it is not just restricted to this area. However, this is popularly known as, for registering more cases of scrub typhus, this area is known as the Tsutsugamushi triangle. Okay, anyone living in or traveling to areas where scrub typhus is very prevalent can get infected. As I have already told you the signs and symptoms, if any larval mite bites you, it might look like this. And just be careful. Do not work in the gardens without gloves. That is very important for us to know. Scrub typhus should be treated with the antibiotic doxycycline, and person of any age can be administered this. Okay, antibiotics are most effective if they are given sooner. Just as the onset of symptoms, people who are treated early with it usually recover quickly. Alright, let's move forward. Arrange the following events in the correct chronological order. Celebration of the first Hindi Diwas, adoption of Hindi as the official language, formation of Hindi Sahitya Sammelan. Choose the correct answer using the codes. First Hindi Diwas was celebrated in 1953 and Hindi is one of our official languages. There are 2 official languages. One is English, another is Hindi. Hindi is also a part of the 22 languages of the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Adoption of Hindi language happened in the year 1949 and formation of Hindi Sahitya Sammelan was in 1918. Okay, so how will we go? First, formation of Hindi Sahitya Sammelan, yes. Then we have adoption of Hindi as the official language, and finally celebration of the first Hindi Divas. So 3 to 1 will be the correct answer. Option B will be the correct answer. In 1918, a group of Hindi scholars and activists formed the Hindi Sahitya Sammelan in order to promote Hindi as the national language, and this was the major step when we come to recognition of Hindi as the official language. On 14 September 1949 only, the Constituent Assembly of India adopted Hindi as the official language to promote and develop Hindi as the lingua franca. That means a bridge between those people who do not, speak common languages. Somebody can speak Telugu, another person can speak Tamil, another person can speak Kannada, some other person can speak some other language. So Hindi was supposed to be a lingua franca. However, because of the imposition of Hindi, Hindi got such a bad name, right? So whenever anything is being imposed and not inculcated, it will get a reaction. That is very normal. To unite the diverse linguistic and cultural regions of the nation, however, it is our constitutional duty to inculcate the use of Hindi language as the lingua franca. So when the constitution says it, we have to do it. The first Hindi Divas was celebrated in 1953. The political powers must ensure that whatever tricks they are using in order to ensure that Hindi becomes accepted and not imposed, it is done in a much gentler way. Because India is a India is a nation of diverse languages, diverse ethnicities, and many other things. So it is important we have to inculcate and not impose at all. Okay, moving on. If we talk about Hindi, Hindi is one of the two official languages of the Union government, one of the 22 scheduled languages, and by the initiation of Biohar Rajdendra Simha, Hazari Prasad Dwivedi, Kaka Kalelkar, Maithili Sharan Gupt, Seth Govindas, we could see Hindi getting its recognition. Now, Bihar, when it was adopted on 14th September 1949, the Hindi language as one of the official languages, it was also Bihar Rajendra Simhaji's 50th birthday. He was the one to have illustrated the original final manuscript of the Constitution of India. Alright, so these kind of questions could also come. However, we also must understand that there is a World Hindi Day which is celebrated on 10th January in order to honor the inception of the World Hindi Conference. Moving on, with respect to Medicanes, consider the following statements. These have been known to form within water temperatures of only 15 degrees Celsius. These are most common from September to January, and they are true hurricanes. How many of the given above is or are correct? Medicanes are hurricanes that occur in the Mediterranean Sea. Their intensity is a little lighter than the common hurricanes, and they are generally not regarded as true hurricanes. I will tell you why. So option, if we go by the statement third, it is incorrect. They are most common from September to January in the year. Once or twice they occur in the Mediterranean Sea. This is also correct. And these have been known to form within water temperatures of only 15 degrees Celsius, as in if there is a minimum presence of 15 degrees Celsius of water body temperature, they can easily form. So yes, first is correct, second is correct, third is not correct. Okay. So when these two are correct, two only will be the correct answer. Recently, we saw that Storm Daniel, which is a Medicane, it formed in the Mediterranean Sea and hurt the population of Libya. Thousands are dead, thousands are displaced. We do not know how will they be, how will they get back on track because of the issues that are already going on in Libya. So we see that Benghazi, Derna, port city of Derna have been the most affected in Libya. I have already covered this in studyIQ on studyIQ IAS English channel. You can go and watch that. There are a range of weather-induced hazards in the Mediterranean, and when short-lived depressions develop, these are known as Mediterranean hurricanes or Medicanes. As you can see, Medicanes are formed generally over here and then they start moving. Mediterranean cyclones or Medicanes are tropical-like cyclones. They occur over the Mediterranean Sea. These are, as compared to hurricanes, weaker in intensity. They affect less area and they have a shorter lifetime. It is triggered by the strong temperature gradient of a cold pool in the higher atmosphere rather than by the instability which is created by the high sea temperatures. With respect to whip, consider the following statements. The practice of whip is unique to India as it is an Indian innovation. That means we have innovated it. A three-line whip is the strongest employed on important occasions. So which of the statements given above is or are not correct? The practice of whip. Whip can be either the person who has been designated as the chief whip to issue directions to the party members. First that, and another whip is when a written notice is given. It could be one line, two line and three line. That is also known as whip. So a three-line whip is the most strongest one. One has to, any party member who has been given this whip, they have to abide by the party lines. So option or statement 2 is correct. However, this comes from the practice of whipping in the legislators and it goes back to the time of the British. So it's not an Indian innovation. First is incorrect, second is correct, one only will be the correct answer. BJP has recently issued whip and asked all the MPs to be present in the house for the special session of the parliament, which is going to start from 18th of September and it will be a 5-day sitting. The agenda list has also been updated. Moving on. A whip may refer to both a written order to the members of the party or the person who is going to dictate the other members of the party to go by the orders of the party head. and to a designated officials, I've already told you. The term is derived from the old British practice of whipping in the lawmakers to follow the party lines. It may require the party members to be present in the house so that they can go on with the business of the house, or they vote only in a particular way. If I tell that party member to vote in a particular way, they have to do it. So in India, all parties can issue whip to their members, doesn't matter if they're opposition or the leading party. Parties appoint a senior member from among their house as the chief whip, and he or she is assisted by additional whips. A one-line whip in which there is one underline, it informs the party members to vote. However, one can abstain if they do not want to vote in the way their party want. When we talk about one-line whip, two-line whip directs them to be present during the vote, and a three-line is the most strong one. Moving on, consider the following: carbon capture and storage, solar radiation modification, ecosystem-based mitigation. So how many of the above are the approaches for removing excessive greenhouse gas in the atmosphere? Okay, so you have to answer it correctly in the comment segment. Let me take the names of those students who have answered my last question correctly so that we can move forward. D was the correct answer. Simran, Kanika, Ria, Shubham, Nikhil, Abhishek, Mansi, Omkar, Priyadarshan, Raj Tiwari, Vivek, Swati Vamula, Komal, Shalvi, Manlinath, Mandeep, Ashlek, Ritu, Sanjay, Vaibhav, Yash Jain, Arun, Neeraj, then Muhammad, Prabhat, Utkal, Hira, Pragati. You all have answered it correctly. Answer this question as well. Thank you so much for watching.